Like Kraken Yachts and some passport sailboats, Outbound Yachts is made in China, heavy like an island packet, but fast like a Beneteau. This offshore cruising sailboat, ideal for the cruising couple looking for a 40 to 50 foot to sail around the world, provides some amazing features you might not be expecting. Let's have a look. Outbound Yachts, founded by Phil Lambert, has one pretty simple philosophy: offshore capable cruising sailboats that aren't total dogs to sail, meaning they have to be fast, a little bit nimble, and fun, but not without losing what makes a great offshore boat so safe. We got on the 46, which is the same as the 44, just with a bigger swim platform and a little bit different interior. And at first, we didn't know what to compare it to, but that became obvious pretty fast. This isn't your average twin helm super wide cockpit production boat with a 15-foot wide bathing platform on the back. This is an offshore boat. The cockpit is tighter and much harder to fall out of. And speaking of falling out, you'll find that difficult with the 30-inch stanchions and lifelines. 30 inches tall is a lot. To put that in perspective, your kitchen counter should be 36 inches tall, so these lifelines are very near that size. Imagine falling over your kitchen counter. You really can't. And note the stainless handholds everywhere you might need them. And there's pad eyes everywhere to clip your harness into when you're offshore, as well as mast pulpits and door aid guards, all stainless steel. This boat was built to do battle in the North Atlantic, where it's just as comfortable as it is anchored off Staniel Key in the Bahamas. Up front is a huge sail and fender locker behind the chain locker, and watertight bulkheads inside in case you head-on crash into something pointy. Battleship as it may be, we're inclined to compare it to the very similar Island Packet 439, where the comparable Beneteau is 24,000 pounds, the Island Packet is 32,000, and this boat is smack in the middle at 28,000. Where the Beneteau has a fin keel, the Island Packet has a full keel. This boat, again, smack in the middle with a longer fin and bulb arrangement. And it comes with two, a 6.5 and a 5.5 footer. But here's where Outbound does something the other two don't: a hard dodger. And you can have it in two sizes: big and sturdy like this one, or the model up, bigger and sturdier. Hard dodger means hard windows and handholds and somewhere to put more solar panels and hide from the rain and the spray. We like hard dodgers. It also protects the optional electric coach top winches that pair good with the electric coaming primary winches. We also get a real main sheet traveler here. In my time at the boat shows in 2024, I almost forgot what a traveler looked like. These are getting rare as everyone moves to a bridle system that makes more room for guests and bigger companionways, but Outbound isn't fooled. They know we want more sail control, and they've given it to us. Out back, we have Outbound's swim platform and unconventional davit system. A normal davit lifts the dinghy straight up and hoists it out of the water. This one uses the topping lift from the mast to pivot the whole davit. So you lay the davit down over top of the dinghy and then raise the dinghy and davit together so the dinghy swings up and over the swim platform. This is sturdy and clever, and it means you can use the electric winch on the coach top to get this job done. And it's much tidier at the back without all the lines and purchase systems other davits need to have. Though this boat is made in China, it's the same yard that does Passport and Kraken, and you can tell. The glasswork is solid and flawless. Outbound uses a hand-laid solid fiberglass hull with a vacuum-bagged foam core deck. And maybe their biggest feature here is this workroom. The lazarette opens to let light and air into the massive workroom where you can have just about anything you want. A workbench with a vise and a toolbox, or maybe a washing machine. The hatch means that the room below now has excellent ventilation and headroom and light coming in. It's also an escape hatch and a ventilation hatch. And the workroom houses the optional generator, and it goes all the way back to the steering quadrant and the autopilot systems. We see stuff like this on true ocean-going world-traveling boats that are meant to be way, way off-grid with no help, and the owner has to be able to keep everything working with only the tools and spare parts that they remembered to bring. This is a proper do-it-yourself ocean yacht. Inside this boat, it's all about craftsmanship that we've come to expect from good yards in Asia. Lots of solid wood and expert level joinery, and I'll let you have a look around here while I explain another thing about this boat that's shocking. While everyone else is putting fuel and water tanks in the furniture slightly above the waterline, Outbound hasn't fallen for that. The tanks are in the bilge here, and by tanks I mean swimming pools. Water isn't that much of a thing now with everyone using water makers, so let's talk about fuel. The similar sized German Hansa carries 58 gallons of diesel. The Beneteau carries a much better 72 gallons. Jeanneau, 102. The much more offshore based Island Packet has a whopping 159 gallons, but Outbound, 190 gallons. That's 1,350 pounds of diesel right on top of the keel. That's a $600 fill, but it means you won't be stopping to find diesel at every island you visit. We should also note the companionway. You get 3 massive steps with handholds everywhere. Outbound listens to their owners, and what a lot of people said was they wanted less ladder and more staircase. And everyone says this is much better on their knees and backs. The stairs are much more user friendly and safer. Under the stairs, you'll find the latest Yanmar with access from both sides. Up front, we get an owner's V-berth stateroom with an attached bath. We get an island bed here, so you can get in from either side. We get a lot of space and storage. Room for the guests will be at the back in the port side aft cabin, or even more guests in a pinch on the drop-down table in the main saloon. Too many manufacturers stop the table from dropping down, but sometimes we need it to make an extra bed. I struggled to find things not to like about this boat, or maybe somewhere that it falls short of the Island Packet that it's so clearly competing with, but I really can't. I joined the owners group and I read what very little in the way of reviews I could find on this boat, and really nothing negative stands out. Maybe on a personal note, I guess there's one thing. The rudder isn't hung from a skeg. I suppose I can deduct points for that. If you're sailing around the world as intended in this boat and you inevitably hit a tree branch or some other solid debris just below the surface, there's nothing to protect the rudder blade. Now let's talk price. I know boats are insanely expensive now, and I don't agree with it either, but the Beneteau 461 brand new we found listed for about $660,000. The Island Packet, a cool $1 million for the 439. And the Outbound 46, well, the factory starts them around 700 grand, but as semi-custom yachts with a lot of add-ons, we can roll a price north of 900,000 pretty easily. But let's talk used boats for a minute. A 10-year-old $1 million Island Packet or Outbound are holding strong around 500 grand, where a 10-year-old Beneteau or Jeanneau are just starting to drop below 300. At 20 years old, the difference is staggering. So if you're buying a brand new boat, the depreciation has a stark difference here. The ocean-going IP or Outbound will hold value a lot better and will likely get you more money back on your way out of the boat. So if you have to choose between Island Packet and Outbound, what then? IP is the American build, the legendary support system, the owners group, and the factory that still works on them in Florida, the dealer network. What do you think? Let everyone know in the comments. Also, Practical Sailor is looking for talent, people who can contribute to the sailing community with written articles or video content. If you want to make some money with your sailing knowledge, get in touch at practical-sailor.com/apply. I'll see you guys next time.